I definitely have a talk with all my business owners. It just depends what your goal is. Like you said, hey, if you're trying to grow your business, get business loans, get bigger capital to like grow your business, then it has to be to where you're not writing off everything. I always talk to them about, okay, so what do you want your income to kind of show? Because we can write off and we can probably find a lot of receipts and try to write off everything, but it's not a good look on our business because it's showing a loss. So it all depends. Like, I would think you would have everything like a bookkeeper to make sure you keep all those expenses categorized and everything. And then once you show it to your tax preparer, kind of go with them and see what your goal is for the next 2-3 years so that I'm planning on growing. Okay, these numbers look good for you.
Everyone, thank you for tuning in to another episode of COSIGN Conversations. Of course, I'm your host, KG. Today, we're in Arlington at Nedi's Tax and Services here with the CEO and the founder. I know it's after tax season, but we're going to give you lots of gems inside your businesses, things about tax files you may not know, how to save money on taxes, how not to get hit by the IRS, and all that good stuff. So today we have Nedi. How you doing today?
I'm doing good. How about you?
I'm good. I'm here.
Nice.
A little late. I apologize.
Oh, no, you're fine.
But we're here today. So we always like to kind of start with like the backstory of how Entrepreneur started. Offline, you told us you've been in business for 15 years with this business, right?
Yes.
So have you been an entrepreneur for 15 years or just doing, your tax business for 15 years?
Entrepreneur for 10 years.
Okay.
And I will say I've been doing taxes for 15.
Okay.
But I didn't get into that thinking that was going to be what I was going to do as a business.
What did you think you was going to do?
RN.
Okay.
RN. I actually just started as a medical assistant. Graduating from high school, I went into the nursing program, and I was like, you know what? I did have a baby, so I needed to do something fast.
Gotcha.
And the idea came like, hey, with medical assistant, it's like a 9-month program.
Okay.
So I started there. I was like, hey, after maybe 2 years, I want to go into nursing and do RN.
Okay.
I was married at that time, and I was actually going through a divorce with a baby. So I was like, I needed a part-time. Okay. So it started as a part-time.
Okay, so you started doing taxes part-time while you were going to school?
I was going to school, and I had graduated.
Okay.
And then I landed a job, like a medical assistant job. It was like 8 to 5. But I still needed a part-time. The reason why I needed a part-time is because, like I mentioned, I was going through a divorce. And I just needed extra income. I don't like to talk negative about anybody. Everybody has, problems. Right. And my partner then was going through a lot of alcohol problems.
Gotcha.
And he wasn't working. I pretty much had to take over like the house bills, the kids and everything for 2 years. So I needed a part-time to make sure to sustain that.
And you were super young.
Yeah, I was super young. Yeah, how old was I? I was like, this was like 15 years ago.
Yeah. Did you like doing a medical assistant at that time, or was it?
Yeah, no, I love the medical field. I love injecting, taking blood out.
Really?
Yeah, I do. Yeah. Pretty much just being there and checking somebody's health. I do also have another business with aesthetics and spa. So whenever I did go to school for that, it was kind of like in the medical too.
Okay.
So, I'm still kind of like in it, I feel like.
I just want to talk about that because I feel like that's how I originally met you, is when you had the Divine Beauty, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so that's how I originally met you. How'd you go from, doing medical assistant, doing taxes part-time, and then starting that business? Was that the first business you started?
Which one?
The spa and aesthetics.
No, I started taxes first.
Taxes first.
Yeah. So it was taxes first. I had to let go of my 8 to 5 because I was doing what was it? I was doing the taxes, but it did become like, I guess, a lot to do. I started having a lot of clientele, and I was like, you know what? I do want to go ahead and take care of everyone. I was making good money early on, and I was like, okay, I think I need to do a sacrifice to make sure and, make this girl. And I let go of my medical assistant. Just took the leap of faith and started doing taxes on my own.
Okay. And tax season is predominantly just 4 to 5 months a year.
Yes.
And you can make enough for
the whole year.
For the whole year.
I mean, if you're smart, for more than that, but I think I've always wanted to ensure that there was still extra income coming in. So that's where Divine came in. I was like, hey, tax season is January through April. What am I going to do with my life after?
Right.
So since I did have that background, medical assistant, I was like, aesthetics, I'll go ahead and try it. I went into the aesthetics, and that was what I was doing after tax season.
Okay. Okay, before we dive into the aesthetics, I want to talk about this, right? So there's a time where, I'm not sure if it still exists, but for a while, everyone was starting a tax business, right? So for those who are looking to get in the industry, talk to us about how you were doing, your medical assistant job full time and then tax on the side, but you grew your clientele so fast to be able to do that full time. How'd you grow your clientele?
Funny with my medical assistant.
Oh, wow.
So in the medical assistant, I was a team lead.
Okay.
So I had about 10 to 15 girls that I was managing. I was like, hey, it's coming tax season. I got to hand you your W-2. Let me go ahead and give you a quote. So I was like, I have my laptop here. I can go into my office. Let me do a quote during lunch break. And slowly, that was already a couple of clients. I do remember one friend, her name's Sabrina, and she's in Arlington here too. Her mom works at one of a big company. And she told her mom, and then her mom started telling everybody in the company. And I probably have more than half the people from that company now.
Oh, wow.
So it's like word of mouth. Like, hey, go to Nedi. She's not just going to do your taxes, input numbers, and that's it.
Yeah.
She's actually going to explain, why you're paying or why you're owing or what can help you. So, yeah, I think a lot of people are comfortable with me with not just doing their taxes, but also helping them understand their taxes.
Gotcha. And you grew a majority from word of mouth?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
I didn't start social media till after COVID.
Oh, wow.
After COVID is when, okay, well, let me go into Instagram and open up my page and go ahead and, be out there. And I started doing that.
How many clients do you think you see a year with taxes?
Over 1,500.
Oh, wow. 1,500.
Thankfully, I've been very blessed to have returning clients. But I do have a team that helps me with that because it will be impossible for me to see that many clients. Yeah.
Man, I don't think I know 1,500 people. If you really think about that, 1,500.
Yeah.
So you're extremely busy January to to April.
Yes, I am.
How big is your team to be able to manage, such a huge clientele?
We have over 21 people. And they're not all in office.
Okay.
I do have a huge amount of clients doing emails.
Okay.
They're very comfortable going through emails. We have, each client gets their own secure client profile. Okay. So, they can always upload. So I feel like they feel comfortable doing that through that. So I have a morning team, an afternoon team. I do have a weekend team. And then I have the online team.
Gotcha. Oh, wow. What would you say is the negative part of the tax business that I'm not going to say don't like about it, but, it's the part that takes the most out of you?
I don't have a life during that time. Here, Monday through Sunday, when it's tax season, I'm here 10 to 9 or even 10 o'clock. because I still want to make sure that I'm helping everyone, like my morning team, my PM team, and my email team.
Mhm.
So I think it does take a lot from me. Like, I rarely go out. I rarely, even with the kids, I have to make sure they're good at home, they're taken care of, because they already know they won't see
Yeah.
me till like after 9. They're like, okay,
Gotcha.
mom, are you on your way now? Yeah.
Oh wow! So at this point, you're doing taxes full time, and then you're like, okay, after April, I don't really have much going on, so I'm gonna get into aesthetics. Right? Talk to us
Hmm.
about what it took from you to transition from the tax business to building out Divine.
It did take a lot. I started alone,
Okay.
and then I brought on my sister.
Okay.
She also did aesthetics. So it was like, okay, well, it's now not tax season. Let me go ahead and get into aesthetics, try to build team. I think aesthetics came more from networking,
Okay.
more social media versus taxes,
Yeah.
It was a whole different type of clientele. It was a whole different type of trying to like network
Right.
out and show why, hey, come to me. Like, why do we want to go to Divine?
Right.
So a lot of people I feel in social media, they want to get to know you,
Got you.
And that's how I grew that. Now I have 2 girls that have been with me for 3 years.
Okay.
So even though I'm in Texas during tax season, the girls are taking care of my clients during that time.
Got you. And what all services do y'all offer on that side?
We start from facials, we do lash lifts, waxing. I'm also a laser technician to do like hair removal.
Okay.
So we do that side. We just started into Botox and filler. We have a medical director that oversees us. So, we're growing slowly, but we're getting there.
What's the number one service over there?
Right now, I would say Botox.
Botox?
I think Botox it's grown so much. A lot more people are not like, no, don't get Botox. You don't need it. We have early clients as 25 years old that start Botox. And, once they know that it's not going to they have to know where to go, right?
Right.
Once they know how it makes them feel, they're like returning clients.
Got you. I'll try it once.
How'd that go?
Man, it was like you look good, but it was uncomfortable because I couldn't move.
Yeah, yeah, it depends. I guess you can go mild or have like frozen face.
Yeah, I have frozen forehead.
You're like, I have no movement.
Yeah, because I can. I don't know if it's like extra skin or whatever, but I can move like the skin in my forehead, like sometimes, like, and I'm not being able to do that was like just a weird.
You're like you're struggling with yourself.
Yeah.
No, yeah. I get it for headaches. Because I do a lot of facial expressions too. You know how they say, hey, you look mean. Why are you mugging me? It helps for that. It relaxes my muscles. So I started early on getting it because of that.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Man, yeah. What do they call it? Like resting something face.
Oh, yeah. Resting bee face.
Resting bee face. Okay.
Yeah.
I know in the aesthetic space too, like just like taxes, it's also like a business that, the more popular it gets, more people enter the space, right?
Mm-hmm.
Have you seen, now that it's, popular and there's more competition, has that affected you, or do you feel like you have enough clientele to sustain like the growing market and industry?
Yeah, no, I feel like we have enough clientele to sustain us. I don't believe in competition. This is one thing that I've always said to anybody, especially like I have so many people that do the same things. I know so many people, and I'm like, hey, if we can help each other grow, like pick our brains, like I feel like we can do that versus looking at each other as competition. Like I would never mind if somebody wants to go to somebody else I know. It's like, hey, you're in good hands too.
For sure.
Like, I believe God has everything for all of us. So
for sure. I kind of want to, this is more like a personal question when it comes to business, right? So a lot of times when we get into the industry or business, we're like, man, I want to be rich, or I want to be a millionaire. I want freedom, right? Like, when you started, taxes, you started as a side hustle because you needed more money, right? Then you started doing aesthetics is because you had a lot of time, right? Going into them, was your goal like, I want to sustain, I want to be a millionaire? Like, how'd you kind of like look at it going into it, like starting these businesses?
I think for me, it was trying to survive. Trying to survive. I didn't have the goal of, hey, I want to make this much money by this time. I didn't have that mindset. It was more like, hey, I have to do something that can provide money. And the aesthetics was more like, I have to do something I love. I myself get treatments and would get treatments before then. And I did like how I felt whenever I left. Like, it's kind of like like a mental day, go and get something done and then come out and feeling a lot better. So I did it more so for that.
Gotcha.
The money came by itself. Thankfully, I would say we do pretty good. So it's just like that came after that.
Gotcha. Did anything change for you once you got out of survival mode? What I mean by that is a lot of times when we're in survival mode, we're just hustling to maintain. And then once we get there, we're like, okay, now I could kind of relax. Yeah. Did you feel like you could relax? And did you feel like, okay, I took my foot off the gas? Or like, how'd it go from you when you actually got out of survival mode?
I don't think I ever got out of survival mode. I think that's just my mindset now. Like every day I get up and make sure that, I'm going to be making enough to sustain my household. I don't think I'm comfortable to I would say, okay, now, I'm not struggling.
Right.
I think my goal, it is actually to make sure that I have a team that if I have to be absent, is still running, is still making the same amount of money, is also still providing for them.
Gotcha.
So I think that's probably what I, envision.
Gotcha. Now, like after going through that and feeling like, okay, you made it out, but you're still at a point to where you want to make sure it goes on, even if you're not here, right?
Mm-hmm.
Does freedom ever like come into mind to like, I could walk away from this, or do you feel like this is something you're always going to do?
I think that I don't always want to be present for me to get it done, but I feel that I've built something that I would want other people to benefit from, especially maybe like my kids in the future. So I don't think I can ever like fully step away, but I do want to maybe one time be able to go on vacation for months and know that it's still generating money,
Right.
Yeah, I will call that freedom, like being able to step out whenever you want, but you're still generating.
Have you thought about a plan of action to kind of get there, or are you still working?
I think I'm still working on it. I do have older kids, but I don't want to force them into taking any of my businesses. They have their own plans. And if it happens, it happens. I do have sisters that do taxes as well. So I'm always open to like sharing with them and, but I don't have a plan as of now, to know what would happen.
So a lot of people can't do multiple things, and you have, multiple businesses. Of course you have a team, but what else would you say has been able to allow you to, do both and do them both at a high level?
To do them both?
Mm-hmm.
What do you mean? Like,
So for example, like I know like some people have to focus on one thing.
Oh, okay.
So how you been able to manage, to do them both? Even though you have a team, I know your team helps a lot, but how are you able to manage both and run them, at the level?
To be there.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's been hard. Definitely hard. And I think it's not easy. It is mentally exhausting sometimes to try to be here and there, like different type of businesses. I feel that balance is very, very, very important. And I'm still learning balance. I don't have it down to the T yet. But I try to, whenever it's tax season, I have to be focusing on here, I do have my businesses next to each other. So I think that has been like a big help, because if I get a little bit of time and the girls need me, I'll like go there and kind of see where they at.
Gotcha. Mm-hmm. There's a thing people say, like there's no such thing as balance.
Yeah, I feel it.
Yeah, because they say like whatever you're focused on at that moment, you're going to give most of your time and attention to, and then everything else will just kind of get, the rest of it.
Yeah.
So it's like it's hard for anything to be balanced because nothing will be,
Truly
50-50. So sometimes I can kind of feel that because like, man, when I'm going hard in the gym, then like, I'm like, okay, then something else is like not getting as much time as attention, or if I'm going hard in business, then maybe my family isn't getting enough of me. So it's hard to like fully do everything balanced,
And
but
be there for
yeah.
everyone and everything. No, yeah, I get that. I think we have to give each other grace, like, hey, you can't do it. It's impossible. There's no way. So, like I said, like my kids understand during this time I
Yeah.
can't be fully there. But as soon as tax season is over, we take vacation. I give them a lot of times. We go out every weekend to see movies. So that's how I guess make up for it. Like make sure that I'm there for them too.
That makes sense. Switching combos, because a lot of our audience, of course, like is entrepreneurs, right?
Mhm.
And taxes are like one thing we hate thinking about.
I get that from everyone.
It's like, man, it's like we want to make the money and we want to keep it, all right? But there's ways to do it, but then there's also paying taxes for business owners can be a good thing, right? So what are some tips or advice you have for business owners when it comes to taxes who are especially trying to grow their business? Because I know one thing that we all know, we should know at this point is if you write everything off and you show a loss, how are you going to get money, loans from anybody? Because it shows that you're not making any money, right?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So what are like some advice you will give to like business owners that you see that you're like, hey, you need to do this or stay away from doing this to kind of help us, be on the right track when it comes to taxes?
Yeah. I definitely have a talk with all my business owners. It just depends what your goal is. Like you said, hey, if you're trying to grow your business, get business loans, get bigger capital to like grow your business, then it has to be to where you're not writing off everything. I always talk to them about, okay, so what do you want your income to kind of show? Because we can write off and we can probably find a lot of receipts and try to write off everything, but it's not a good look on our business because it's showing a loss. So it all depends. Like, I would think you would have everything like a bookkeeper to make sure you keep all those expenses categorized and everything. And then once you show it to your tax preparer, kind of go with them and see what your goal is for the next 2-3 years so that I'm planning on growing. Okay, these numbers look good for you.
Do y'all do bookkeeping here as well?
We do. We take on a couple businesses. If I think that your business might need a little further, we do have CPAs to work with, so we can refer you to CPAs.
Got you. I think that's good too, because I know one thing that a lot of people reach out to me about is like trying to find CPAs because not everyone understands their business, right? So for example, like with us in media, not everyone knows like the best places to categorize expenses, right? And that's what I realized too, is because, for example, if like, our awards gala, we do an event and we're renting an event space. Like I asked my last CPA, like, where would that fall under? He really couldn't tell me.
Oh.
So it's like, you might not be the CPA for me. So it's trying to find out like working with the right people who,
the right fit for you.
Yeah, or even if they don't know, they can at least source the answer.
And that's where I say, like, I like to know other individuals in my same area, because if I'm not able to help somebody, I try to be honest and tell them, hey, I would love to help you. I know I was referred, but that's not my area of expertise. I think my area would be like small business owners and trying to help them out how to also structure their business that they're starting on. And, once they grow into something else, I typically do refer them out because it's a lot more.
Yeah. Is there like a revenue cap that you're like, okay, you might need something else? Like if they do over $1 million, or like you feel like you can still handle those type of?
I have a few that make over $1 million, even two. And I do tell them that they need to go S Corp because then, you want to kind of get away from that company and pay yourself now because you're doing a lot and you have employees. I have clients that have over 30 employees, and I'm like, you really need to be paying them W-2s. Like, there's benefits out there, but they don't know, so yeah.
For you, with your multiple businesses, do you set them all up as LLCs, or do you have any S corps, or they're just LLCs right now?
This one is actually a corporation, not an S corp. The taxes, my Divine is an LC. And I do have one that's just sole prop right now because I do health insurance too. And we're trying to go into auto. So,
Auto insurance.
mm-hmm.
Oh, you got her killing me.
I want to make, one thing that with the team that I have, a lot of times a lot don't come back because it's just seasonal. So they might find other jobs and, they try to have something for the year long.
Gotcha.
And that has been my goal. Like, what else can I bring on into the Texas so that it's open year round?
That makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
That makes sense. With, for example, like starting those businesses, right? Is that more of like a brokerage thing, or is it would be like your own actual operations?
That's what I'm learning right now.
Okay.
I'm trying to see if, like, for health and auto, I do want to have different, I guess, resources for everyone, not just one franchise. Because I know, let's say, like State Farm, you can franchise them, but only use them.
Right.
And I know a lot of people like to shop around and see which one's more convenient for whatever they're looking for. So I would want to be like a brokerage where it would be like multiple. Mm-hmm.
Okay. So you wouldn't want to have like a Geico insurance
and just limit to that.
Yeah.
No, I would want to have my own. I think I have a good clientele, and they've asked me. I'm like, well, I'll let y'all know whenever I get there.
No, that's awesome. But I did want to talk about this too real quick because I didn't even know about it. So LLC, sole prop, S corp, and then just corporation, right? What's the difference between an S corp and then corporation? A
corporation. An S corp, you are still an LC.
Okay.
It's just the way you are doing your taxes. So you gotta still get qualified and accepted to do an S corp.
Okay.
A corporation is more so in its own corporation. Everybody's more so like a W-2, and it's more like fully away from you. Like your company runs itself.
Okay. Mm-hmm. So even here, so you pay yourself a salary here too?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wow.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And that way, it saves you more taxes on your end?
It does. Mm-hmm. It does. And it's helpful. Like I said, a lot of people, whenever they grow out of a certain tax bracket, you do want to separate the company from yourself.
Okay. And would you go by, this is one problem I have, like, is it more like a revenue thing or a profit thing? So for example, if you're making, for S Corp corporation, if you're making $500K, but you're only profiting like 90 to 100K, is that still worth doing an S Corp, or it is?
Yes, it is. I think anything over 100K you would want to do an S Corp. Okay. Yeah. W-2, pay yourself. The only thing is, I do tell people you have to be very, very consistent in how you're running your business, because once you go into that corporations, you cannot touch that money. Basically, the company's money. Yeah. You're working for the company now, so it kind of turns to that.
What they call it now? What they call you? Commingling funds.
Yeah, just pay yourself a good salary to where you don't even touch that money.
Do y'all? It would be a good way to vertical integrate. I don't know if y'all already do it. Y'all do any payroll services?
I do. Okay. For very small. I probably have maybe 5 clients right now, because it is a lot, and I don't want to overdo it either. I do my own payroll, and the dividing as well.
Okay. So I was going to say that's another way to expand and be vertically integrated within your business. If you offered payroll services for.
I also do business entities. So like if anybody needs to actually do an LLC, I help them with that. I help do franchise tags, sales permits. Okay. So there's quite a few services in there that will help me for the year.
Gotcha. Can you help them go from LLC to S Corp too? Okay.
Yeah.
Wow, that's good. That's good to know. And out of everything you do, what do you say is, like, I know you said that aesthetics is what you're most passionate about. Is that what you love the most?
I do. I feel that the aesthetics, just, you get to relax with your clients as well. And taxes, I mean, I can do taxes all day, but sometimes it's stressful and my clients are stressful and I'm trying to explain to them. So it's not always relaxed. Yeah. But I mean, I love both my businesses. I cannot see myself not doing one or the other.
Do they ever push you to do like illegal stuff?
What do you mean? Illegal stuff? Oh, no. I tell them, look, we're going to get in trouble. This is why.
This isn't my kid, but it can be my kid.
I mean, there's ways to go around it. Hey, did you support the child?
Yeah.
I try to dig around and see how I can help you legally.
No, that's funny. What's the largest tax return you ever like got somebody?
Largest, 21,000. And not didn't do much.
How do you get $21,000 back?
Okay, so you know the stimulus payments that were going out in 2021. Yeah, this person had 6 kids.
Okay.
So, and they were missing all the stimulus payments, and they were also missing all the the child tax credits that they were giving in advance. So yeah, that was the largest one I saw.
21. I know she was lit.
I was like, I hope you do some investment somewhere.
Yeah.
Something, because that's a lot of money just to spend on something that's not gonna bring back to you.
Yeah, dang, 21,000.
Yeah.
That's crazy. And is the tax business set up more like to where you just do your flat fee, or is it like a percentage off of the return, or just a flat fee?
Like my fees that I charge. So I do have flat fees, but I do also do a lot of discounts. Okay. So let's say my flat fee for like new clients is $250 for a basic return, or $450 for a single member LLC. Okay. If I get a client that's a student, okay, and they're probably getting $20, $30, $50, sometimes I do it for $30. So it just depends. Like, I'll like, hey, I'm gonna give you a discount. Like, you ain't getting nothing back. Yeah. Especially my students. I try to like help my students out a lot. I think the most I would charge is $700 for like a business owner that I'm doing your expenses and categorizing as well. Okay, I would ask that. Yeah, because it takes more time. Okay. And I'm like, hey, I'm gonna charge you this much, but I'm also helping you, kind of like lower your taxable income, get you a little bit more, or not owe as much.
Gotcha. Okay, so I'm gonna use a case study. Like, could be myself, could be somebody else. So let's say we use QuickBooks. Okay. It's not the best. Like we're on there, but we haven't like maybe done all the right categories, but we have enough to give to you. Would we just give you like the account information to log in? Would we print it off and then you just take it from there and file, or is it something like you would go through it with us and then file?
I would request the profit and loss report, which has mostly everything categorized. Right. And whatever's not categorized, I do go with you. Like, hey, do you have an idea what this was, and kind of help you categorize it there. Gotcha. Yeah. Okay.
What if we're like, hey, we have it, we don't know if we did it right? Would that still be like the $700?
That would be probably an additional $500 if I have to go into your books. And because the moment I go in there, I don't just want to look at a month. Because if I'm going to have to look through January to December, make sure that you're categorizing correctly. Okay. And I do offer those classes too, one-on-one classes to kind of help you with the QuickBooks. And it is my to-go-to just because it's a lot more user-friendly. Right. And you can even do your 1099 there, your W-2s. So I do that.
I was going to ask you if you do consultations, because I feel like people have QuickBooks, it kind of works for you. But like I said, the problem is sometimes we don't know how to categorize everything, and we're probably messing it up because we're not categorizing it right.
I do those consultations.
Okay, definitely need to put that information here. And another thing is for people getting the right QuickBooks. Like me, I messed up.
Oh. So there's so many QuickBooks out there. It's overwhelming.
Yeah. So when I started, I had the QuickBooks Self-Employed. Okay. Right. So it gives me a P&L, but it doesn't give me a balance sheet. And it doesn't give me, I don't think I can do 1099s.
No.
From the self-employed.
Not the self-employed. It's very basic.
Profit and loss statement. So when I was going through like these cohort and like business accelerator programs, they were like, just pull your balance sheet. I'm like,
what? Where do I get that from?
I had to do this manually. So that's one thing I feel like a lot of people even need to get educated on too, is which QuickBooks to get. Because you think self-employed, I'm self-employed.
And you're like, that one should work.
Yeah.
I do consultations because it depends exactly. Like, I don't think there's like a right answer just for everyone. Right. Because we have to go through your situation. Okay, do you want it just for profit and loss report? Okay, self-employed. Yeah. Do you want it more like to do payroll, to do 1099s, to have a balance sheet and all that? Then probably accountant. Right. So it just depends like what your how you're going to structure your business.
No, for sure. And even like your business grows, because maybe when you first started, you just needed that. But
Mm-hmm.
then as you grow, you need more. So
You'll have to upgrade. Definitely.
pay those additional. Are there any like platforms or software out there too that you think people should utilize to help make your job easier for their business?
I'm very familiar with QuickBooks, so it's definitely my to-go-to. I know there's some other ones out there, and I haven't really shopped around for any other ones because I'm so like, I use everything. I'm paying the only other one I use, but it's for W-2 employees only, not so much for like bookkeeping, is like Gusto.
Okay, I've heard of Gusto.
Yeah, Gusto.
Payroll through there too, right?
Yeah, it's really easy, really user-friendly to do payroll, but it won't categorize. So it just
gotta use
something else.
Okay. And a question for entrepreneurs: do you think having multiple invoicing platforms hurts them, or does it all eventually go through QuickBooks anyways? For example, like you can use quick invoices through QuickBooks. Then some people have Square, some people have PayPal, some people have Stripe.
Yes. It can be very different. QuickBooks, you have to link it. So if you link it to your business account but not your Square account, then you need two different, profit and loss reports. But if your Square goes, like your Square money goes into your business account, then it will end up in QuickBooks.
Gotcha.
So it just depends. I mean, you can do credit cards there too. So pretty friendly.
Yeah, I think the only thing where it probably might mess you up now that I'm thinking about it is probably the well, I guess it all comes in as income, so it really doesn't matter on that part. Okay.
The cash, maybe.
Yeah.
The cash.
If you're counting that.
Yeah, I mean, if they count it, because you should.
Yeah, you definitely should.
But I know, like Square, you can still do the invoice and say they pay you cash, so it's still like counting it.
Yeah.
So.
Quick story. I remember I messed up real bad one year when I was doing custom jewelry. Man, because we were getting like so much cash, and I'm like, okay, I want to like make sure that I'm showing, profit. And then I looked up and I'm like, man, this is way too much. I'm about to
You're like half on it.
Yeah. I'm like, this is way too much. But I mean, I don't want to get anybody in trouble. It's almost like at your discretion.
Yeah.
Kind of.
I was like, it's, like I said, I'll talk to my clients. Like, what do you have? Like, see if we can work with it,
Yeah, for sure. Like, where do you see yourself in like the next like 4 to 5 years with your business? I know you got auto insurance coming. You're doing health insurance.
I'm doing health insurance,
which I feel like every entrepreneur needs to get.
Oh yes.
Definitely needs to get. But I feel like health insurance is something people automatically think is expensive. Like,
it can be. It just depends. The one I offer, it is through the government, just because I do taxes. I kind of have that knowledge of being able to offer those. It's more through the marketplace. I'm sure a lot of people have heard of it. It goes based on income.
Okay.
So if your income is high, you might have a high insurance. But I believe like a lot of people also have the misunderstanding, hey, I'm going to get it through my job. And they think it's the best insurance, but they don't know how to look at the benefit summary. And, well, if you go to the doctor, how much are you paying? Or coverage. And I do, like in the medical, I have the medical background with insurances too. So that kind of like, with me personally, I always use me as a scenario. I have this insurance through the marketplace. I had to have a gallbladder removal. And I only paid $1,500 for my 2-week stay, 2 procedures done, and a lot of morphine because I was in pain. Just $1,500, and a lot of people's like, wow, you're talking about thousands of dollars that they usually charge you.
Oh, that's a huge saving.
Yeah,
it sounds like a couple thousand alone. Yeah,
definitely. So, I mean, I try to give them that knowledge of how to use their health insurance too.
It seems like a reason why a lot of people come to you too is because you're always sharing information and not just, doing a transaction.
Exactly.
Have you always been like that, or you just learn, through experience and through customer service?
I think I've always shared what I know. If I know something, I like to share my knowledge. That is also one of the reasons why I started tax classes, because I do those during summer, because I did want to teach more. And people that take it, they don't only take it because they want to do taxes. They take it because they want to understand a little more in depth their situation. Yeah.
I mean, I know it happens for a lot of people, but how would you say taxes like changed your life?
I didn't have it in my plans, but I think God put it in me for a reason. I think I've always been really good with numbers since high school. I got a lot of certificates for doing really good in math. So I love it. I do like it and everything. And I think it changed my life being in taxes in the way of opening other doors and knowing that, hey, you think you want to do this, but give this a try. And it grew a lot.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So to kind of put it all like a full circle moment, I know when you first started, you wanted to be an RN.
Mm-hmm.
Do you ever see yourself doing that?
Funny, I've always gone to school. I'm still a nursing student.
Okay.
I've taken some classes. It's just taking me so long because tax season, I gotta give my full 100% there, so I don't go to school during that time. I like I had mentioned earlier, I also did laser, so that's still like learning at your body and everything. So I don't know if I'll ever finish it.
Yeah.
I hope so. I hope, but kind of just going with wherever God wants me at this time, wherever I feel the pull. So.
Gotcha. Do you feel fulfilled, like as a business owner, or do you feel like there's other things in your life that you want or want to do?
I feel that I still have more to do. Definitely, I feel like I haven't reached my potential. I know a lot of people come to me and tell me, "Hey, you are successful. You do so much in this and that," and I don't feel 100% successful because I feel there's still more that I should be doing out there.
Gotcha.
Mm-hmm.
So what would make you feel like that? I know for everybody it's different. It could be a number. It could be, I don't know. It could be anything. Like,
I think the moment I know that my kids and myself are good for a couple of years without having to worry about what's coming next.
That's important. Mm-hmm. Are the things you're currently doing, like you invest on the side that to kind of like help you get there, or do you have kind of plan to like help you reach that success moment?
No, I do invest on the side to make sure. And I think a lot of people in business that I've talked to don't only do one thing. Right. They're always like, where else can I put my money to work? Where else? Because I feel that's one thing that we're investing. Like my business is worth some money, and I know that's an investment itself.
True.
So I think we all do that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. What's been this is April, so it's financial literacy month. What's been like your biggest money lesson? It could be good or bad. I got a couple.
I think my money lesson, buying 2 houses in less than a year, and then trying to sell them right away.
Just on them both?
Yeah.
Why?
Well, because I thought it was an investment, and I was like, no, I actually lost because you don't just, okay, so we bought this house and it probably doubled.
Okay.
And then we sold it. And of course, whenever you're doing a sale, I didn't have the knowledge and education that you're going to have to pay taxes on it, but also you're paying people to do that transaction. Yeah. So like almost half of it is also lost. So that was like, no, that was bad.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So that was like maybe I just lost money like that.
Wow. So actually gained in value, but because you sold it
too soon.
Mm-hmm.
I lost.
So I know depending on how you buy houses, sometimes you got to wait a while to sell it. Dang.
Yeah. So I need somebody to reach out to me that can teach me that. I can only know so much.
What area was it in? You want me asking? Was it in
Mansfield?
Mansfield. Mm-hmm. Oh, that's a grown area
too. Mm-hmm. Yeah. I was like, oh man, no, I lost that.
Dang. Yeah, I sold my house in Mansfield during the pandemic, but I had it for a while, and it did really good. I wish I would have held on to it a little longer because I sold like right at the beginning.
Oh goodness!
Of the pandemic.
Yes.
So I don't even want to look up now how much.
You're like, I'm not gonna look up that address on Zillow.
I got close a couple of times, and I'm like, nah, I don't want to do that to myself. Mm-hmm. But yeah, so I'll share one too. So one of my money lessons is, you know, like when you go into survival mode, before when you're in survival mode, right? You're like, man, I wish I had money to invest in opportunities. And then once you
Mm-hmm.
get the money, you're like, okay, I can finally invest. I'm not left out these opportunities, right? Well, somebody presented opportunity to invest and it looked amazing. And you know, for like the first 2 months, it was cool.
Mm-hmm.
Turned out to be a Ponzi scheme, and then
Oh my God, no.
yeah, I lost
Mm-mm.
6 figures like that.
No way.
Yeah. So at first you're like you're angry, you're disappointed. You're like, man, how could I
Yes.
do all that?
It's
But
hard work money, hard earned
yeah,
money.
but you know, those are like those expensive lessons.
Mm.
You know,
Oh, yeah.
yeah, it's like even now, like going forward, I'm pretty sure you'll do more research, looking at houses before you invest in the same. Like
Yes.
I'm doing a lot more research when it comes to investing in anything.
Yeah. Yeah. No, definitely do not take the first thing that's presented to you
Yeah.
because you never know. And I believe also looking at statistics, see how that can bring you back money and how much it can bring you to see if that's even worth it.
Nah,
So,
that's, that's important. And do you have like a good money lesson too to share?
a good one. Um, I mean, whenever, like, being in the tax season, we make all our money during that for a month. And it can seem like, hey, that's a lot of money.
Yeah.
I'm good. Let me go spend it or
Yeah.
something. Do not spend it. It's for the whole year. So we kind of like have
Yeah.
to look at it like, hey, this money is actually has to be for the whole year and we shouldn't touch it or put something on the side or invest it where it's actually growing.
Nah,
Yeah.
that makes sense. I know that's like that's discipline. Because you
Mm-hmm.
see all that money
Discipline.
at one time, you're like, man, I'm good. I can go on vacation. But then you still got, the summer coming up, the winter.
Yes, it's
then-
hard. It definitely is discipline. Don't touch it.
Yeah. Did you learn from experience? Like your first year, did you like, I'm touching it? Or did you kind of like go into it kind of already knowing? Like,
No, I think the first year I did the 6 figure, I invested right away into a truck and that started another business.
okay.
Not my business anymore, but it was like the first thing I was like, hey, we need to invest into something that's going to grow.
Okay.
So maybe, yeah. But I've also had moments to where it's like, okay, let me put this much money down in 20-30K goes like this.
Yeah.
So it's like,
Yeah. Nah, for sure. And for those who are watching who don't know you, what's something you want them to know about you as, whether it's an entrepreneur, a businesswoman, a mother, friend, what do you want them to know about, Nedi?
I think I'm always here to help anybody in any way, being personal or business. Whenever somebody comes to me, I like to get to know them a little bit more in the personal level. And I just like to be there and show people how much they can grow too. And not just, like I said, financially or business, but also personal.
Yeah.
A lot of people might feel like sometimes they're not worth. I don't want to say that, but they don't have the potential. And I see potential in people.
Right.
Like I believe I have that gift. Like I can see how far you can go. And some people are just not there.
Yeah.
And I like to be that comfort for them and show them and hey, this is how I did and maybe it'll help you or you have your own way. Like I like to be there for people like that.
That's awesome. And then kind of my last question to kind of summarize all together. If you had to do it all over again, what would you do?
I think I would do it not exactly the same, but with more discipline.
Okay. And what aspect?
Just the life, how soon I can start a business, how soon I can be smart about where the money goes, and also how to balance my life with my kids and be more there, knowing how to separate business and personal.
Yeah. I think that's important too. I remember my daughter was young. I'm like, man, I'm gonna go like really hard on business while she's young, but it's like, man, I lost that time.
Yeah, and it never comes back.
It never comes back. And now she's older and she has her own life with friends, and it's even harder now.
Oh yeah, like you're like, no, I'm gonna go with my friends. Yeah. It never comes back. That's why I say that, because I lost their early age, seeing them grow, see that I feel that sometimes do kind of like structure who they're gonna be. and that's what I would change.
Yeah, nah, same. I appreciate it. All right, before we get out of here, kind of tell people how they could work with you, whether it's, like, tax season's over with, but they want to work with you when it comes to taxes or one-on-one consultations. They have business owner like myself who you kind of help getting stuff categorized, or on the beauty side, kind of share how they could work with you.
I have a website, is www.neddystaxservices.com. I'm on Instagram, I'm on Facebook. We have a phone number, and we're located in Arlington, but I do work with all over 50 states. I have clients all over. So I'm here, just type my name, Nedi Hernandez, and I actually come up on Google.
Yeah, get a Google account too. Google My Business is good for your business. If you like this episode, please like, share, comment, and subscribe. If you have any questions, put them in the comments. Until next time, thank y'all for watching, and we
Thank
appreciate
you.
y'all.